When I was 10 years old, I lit a circle of candles on my bedroom floor. I threw my head back and I said, I call to the other side, bring me the spirit of Marilyn Monroe. A gust of wind ripped through the room. The candles flickered. My blinds and curtains flew straight up and froze horizontally with the window locked. I'm Ashley-Raye, and this is Dying to Know. This was the first and last seance I ever held. If you've been here since episode 1, welcome back. If you're new here, buckle up. This is a story where I tell you stuff I can't even fully explain. The first few episodes were about my belief that the dead aren't gone. And the upcoming episodes are going to be about moments in my life when something proved it, in ways that had nothing to do with grief and everything to do with what the hell just happened. This is episode 6. See, I need to set the scene for who I was when this happened for context, because context is everything for this story. I was about 9 or 10 years old, and I was deeply into witchcraft for a 10-year-old. Now, let me be clear. When people hear witchcraft, they think satanic worship, dark cloaks, animal sacrifices. And this was not that. I was 10. My witchcraft consisted of talking to trees, befriending animals, making potions with leaves and sticks and berries in the backyard. I got my cousins into it. I got my friends into it. We were a whole little coven of 10-year-olds, convinced that we had powers. And in retrospect, I don't think we were wrong. I just don't think we understood what we were actually messing with. Because one night, I got proof. Excuse me. One night, my cousin was sleeping over. We'll call her Rose. But Rose was more than my cousin. She was my best friend, my sister. We decided we were going to have a seance. Now remember, we were 10. So our concept of a seance came from movies and what we saw on TV. We didn't know what we were doing, but we had an idea of what we needed. Candles. So we gathered every candle around the house that we could find. Tea lights, scented candles, you name it. If it had a wick, it was coming with us. And a lighter, which we stole from my mom, and a spirit. Of all the spirits to conjure up, we decided we were going to summon Marilyn Monroe. Yes, the Marilyn Monroe. So we snuck into my room with all of our seance supplies, shut the door, set up the candles in a circle, carefully lit each one. My room glowed. It was enchanting and mystical, but eerie and spooky at the same time. We sat down across from each other, holding hands over the candles. And I threw my head back and stated in the most dramatic way, I call to the other side, bring me the spirit of Marilyn Monroe. I threw my arms up And just as I did, a gust of wind ripped through my room. The candles flickered, and suddenly the blinds and curtains flew straight up and froze, horizontally sticking out as if they'd been paused by a remote. Now, this obviously shook Rose and I to our core. So we start screaming, and we couldn't make it out of that room fast enough. We booked it out of there, ran to the living room where my mom was fast asleep on the couch, completely unaware of what we'd done. We were hysterical, crying, tripping over our words, trying to explain what just happened to my half asleep and very annoyed mother. Barely opening her eyes, she tells us, "It's way past bedtime. Get your asses in bed." Reluctantly, we made our way back to my room. The only thing scarier than the spirit realm was a pissed off mother. We stood there at my bedroom door, terrified. The last thing we wanted to do was go in that room. But I reached in and I flicked the lights on. The candles were out, the curtains and blinds were back down. It was like nothing even happened in there. Completely normal, which also seemed to have freaked us out. We stood in the doorway, and I'm racking my brain for a rational explanation. So I decide to check the window. Maybe it was open, and that's what caused a gust of wind to rip through and send the curtains up. I don't know. It made sense in my 10-year-old mind. So I walk across the room and I pull up the blinds. Not only was the window shut, it was locked. If there was a big gust of wind outside, there was no way it was getting in. I realize there was no rational explanation. There just was what we saw. And after what we saw, we didn't want to sleep in my room that night. We grabbed our blankets and pillows and we fell asleep in the doorway with the lights on. Ever after that night, the energy in that room was never quite right. I can't put my finger on exactly what it was. There was just this, I don't know, this darkness. That is, until my Uncle Ray passed in that very room years later. Into adulthood, I've continued on a spiritual path. Although now, I don't mess with things I don't understand, and I only call to the beyond when I know what I'm doing, and it's not all willy-nilly. I'm very careful now. What I know now that I didn't know then is you don't need an altar, candles, a cauldron, or a spell book. You don't even need to know what you're doing. You just need to open the door. And you need to be very careful of who and what you open it to. I opened a door, and I don't know what walked through it. Was it Marilyn? Probably not. Something else? Absolutely. Whatever it was, it came the very second I called. Which means, whatever we call the other side, it's not very far at all. It's right here, waiting to be spoken to. And ever since that night, I'm careful about what I say out loud. You never know who or what is listening. So before I go, my question to you this week is this. Did you ever do something as a kid, like a seance, or play with a Ouija board, or play Bloody Mary in front of the mirror? And did you get a response you couldn't explain? What happened? I'm Ashley-Raye, and this is Dying to Know. I'll see you next week. Oh, and uh, don't open any doors while I'm gone. And if you do, be careful.